Oh no, it's not happening. Lovely. I carry a stool with me. This is completely a Reuben job. Reuben, you don't know what thin ice you're on. It feels good. Every time I open this bag, I get a little bit of excitement. First and last warning. Get your angle. I'll start up here. Hey guys, welcome back. We're out in Royston and we've got a bit of a tricky situation on our hands. I wasn't actually planning on filming a video today, and that's the honest truth. The cameraman just happens to be with me all the time. However, the job is not as intended, and I think actually it'll be quite interesting to try and find a solution. And I'm just going to talk about my thought process out loud. I'm going to think out loud, like Ed Sheeran, and see if you guys want to come along with the journey, basically. So originally, we was going to use this board here, okay? So this is the trouble with doing the EV surveys just online, doing them all over the internet without actually having a look at the job. Sometimes you can come unstuck. We were told, yeah, there's a spare way in this board, which there is. That 6 amp breaker, there's nothing coming out the top, so fantastic. We can just pop that out, pop a 32 amp breaker in and then drop the cable down. The car charger's just going on the other side of the wall in the garage. Lovely, don't even have to work outside in the rain. However, look at the size of the cables supplying it. You've got these tiny little cables coming in there supplying it, and it's coming off of this board here. So you've got a switch fuse powering a submain coming in. This armouring isn't earthed or anything either, so I would probably have to change that armouring because it's not been done correctly. So if I'm using that supply, I would need to fix that, so that's straight away more work. And this board is powered from a Type AC 32 amp RCPO, so I can't have a Type AC upstream from my Type A. That's in my Zappi. So straight away that's an issue. So all of a sudden just swapping a breaker is turned into replacing a supply, repairing a cable, swapping a CED breaker, which I don't even know where I'd get that from, especially out here in the sticks. It's quite a lot more work. However, I think we found another option. So the charger wants to go here. And there's this duct here which runs back near to the house. However, that presents another issue. I've only got a little bit of cable here and it's not armoured because I was just planning on clipping direct straight out of there around and dropping it in. I have got some armoured left on my van. This armoured Cat 5 EV Ultra cable I reckon will probably be long enough to get from here to the house, and then I can just put a junction box, lose the earth from inside the armouring, etc., and then come up and go along like that. Still a lot more work, and also haven't got Reuben with me today. That armoured cable is quite a lot thicker than the non-armoured version, the MYYJ, and this duct is really not very big. So this should be a bag of fun. So do you know what? We're going to make a video out of it. It's a right pain in the Janus. Might have to have a bit of sketchy camera work today because this is definitely a two-man job, and we haven't got anyone else with us. So I'm going to use our cameraman for a bit of labour. Let's just measure this out and see if it's even going to be long enough. There's actually quite a bit on that, you know. That might be enough to do the whole job. Okay, so I'll show you what the cable route is. So it goes down underground here, underneath all the cars, and then it pokes up inside that bush. So you can see that's where it comes to, and then the consumer unit is just the other side of that wall. If I get it to that point there, I'll probably put a junction box on the wall, separate the data, separate the power, and then run a normal twin and earth cable through the wall into the consumer unit. That's the plan. All right, let's get pulling, let's get tying. Right, this is going to be very difficult to film because I need Max over there on that side. I've tied this up with just loads of little self-tightening knots up the thing and a cable sock. So I'm hoping that should be narrow enough to get down it. I'm going to go this side and push and unkink all the cable, and hopefully that is enough. Okay, so I'm going to give it a wiggle, right? Yeah. So you'll know which one it is. Yeah. Oh no, even my knots are too wide. I don't know if we'll get this, you know. Nah, it's not happening. Are you pulling pretty hard? You got it? Amazing. Amazing. sick. Might even be enough to get over to the board, get over to the charger. Oh, mate, I reckon we'll actually have enough. To the centimetre, probably got enough there. We've got to come bottom entry, bear in mind, but you said there was a fair bit spare over there, yeah? I'll terminate this into a box there, mount that box on the wall inside that bush, and then that end I can just put directly into the charger, and then we don't have any, well, I didn't really want to have two joints, so lovely. Let me show you my van, because I'm still very proud of it. Take a box out of my whisker box section, 25mm SWA, there we go. Nice CWK gland. There we go. You see, as I advanced in years, I want to try and find ways to make my life easier. Whereas before, the young, naive Cory, back when I was like 22, you know, I would have probably struggled with this. I would have gone into the bush, wrestled with all the rats and whatnot. That's possibly in this bush. But whereas now, I feel like ever since I hit 23, no, life's changed for me a little bit, you know. I carry a stool with me. I bring all my tools in a nice little waterproof bucket, which if we're doing tool of the day today, that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to terminate the cable here with the minimum amount I need, do it all in comfort, and then slide it back down the duct and just stick it on the wall there. Yeah, I think that seems to make the most sense to me. And then I can literally just drill through the wall. I'm actually going to drill out now before I terminate the cable, just so I can see exactly where it is that it needs to go. Oh, there's a non-RCD way there as well, that's convenient. Where are all these cables going? All over the show. Okay, well I can't drill above. I don't really want to drill below either. I'll just take it out here on that spot. I'll do it inside the board actually. That was a good shot though. Oh, so much for me not going in the bush. Well, that's annoying. We'll drill it out a bit wider. Right, let's have a think. How are we going to do it? Just a little bit of 4mm would literally remedy our problem. We could use this NYJ. That's a bit narrower, but then that defeats... Yeah, because that would still be the only joint, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to terminate it to that hole there. Use a big drill bit because it's be nice and easy. Right, I hope this microphone enjoys the merry sounds of the bush. This is completely a Ruben job. Ruben will be all over this. He loves jobs like this. And then the way it goes, today, I really need him. And I'm on my own, I'm about to have my eyeballs poked out. Ow! Look at it. I've got to stop being such a blimmin' pansy about stuff like this. There could be girls watching this, you know? There's some fat spiders in here as well. Half a tree. That is a trigger when Ruben doesn't put that back in the little case. Seriously, Ruben, you don't know what thin ice you're on. Alright, Linian 12 to 14, Linian 18 to 20, my energy. That's not where the my energy drawer goes. My energy drawer goes there. This Linian drawer goes there, okay? First and last warning. I'll let you come in there to silicon it, just so you can experience it. Saw this picture the other day where it was like a 70-year-old man. And he was going, being an electrician isn't a stressful job at all. It was the best decision I ever made. And it said like, Peter, age 26. Oh, that needs silicone actually. Silicone, LeBron James. So I saw a few comments where people were asking if we could show a little bit more detailed how exactly we test. So I've got the cable into the board now. So I'm going to do my first test, which is R1 plus R2. You've probably seen us do it a few hundred times, to be honest. And I think I've made the mistake of kind of glossing over it, because when you do it a lot, you'll realise how easy it is. So you don't think of it as a complicated thing to explain, but obviously if you've never done it before, then it probably is quite alien, even all the terminology and phrasing. So I'll show you how we do that, and then we can move on to insulation resistance as well. We could even do that one in another video. So I'm just linking out my R1, which is line, and I'm connecting that to my R2, which is CPC or earth. This you want to zero out with your test lead, and then we'll go the other side and take a resistance measurement across those, and we record that. Something you can do as well, which I like to do if it's a run like this, I'm not as concerned because there's not really much in the way of risk with joints and stuff, but say you're doing a socket circuit or a lighting circuit, it's quite a nice touch just to do R1 plus RN as well. And on a cable like this, it should be the same, it should be exactly the same pretty much resistance, because the cable's the same length, same run, same size, same temperature. So then you can confirm if there is a bad joint or anything on it. So I'll go the other side and show you. So I'll show you what the crack is on this. Ooh, I love it. Every time I open this bag, I get a little bit of excitement. Right. I just love that. I feel like I've finally got it together. It's taken me, well, a lifetime really. It's taken me a year of working with Jordan really. For the first time, I actually feel properly organised and comfortable, because I was never happy with that van from day one. And I know that's a really awful thing to say, because it's such a nice van, and it's, you know, incredible to be given a company van that's like fresh and clean and racked out, and you know, got the Apple CarPlay and all the rest of it. So I sound like such a baby, but it was more that my Caddy that I had before, that was my personal van. I sold that, and I got it perfect. It took me a long time to get the racking and that in there exactly as I wanted it, but I was literally able to just work out of that van so efficiently. So I think when I went to the Transit, I probably, one, wasn't as open-minded as I should have been, and two, I was like, I just didn't like the racking. I didn't like those shelves and not properly organised. But now I've finally got that racking perfect, got all my tool bags laid out perfect. It feels good. Like, you just enjoy your work more when you know you feel a bit more organised, and it's easy to keep that way as well. So this is my test meter that I use. I really can't say I recommend it. For everyone that asks, my preferred brand generally is Mega or Fluke. I think there's not much in it between them that I've found so far, but those two generally are just the daddies of the test meter world. The Matrel, Q-Tech's good if you're on more of a budget. I do like Q-Tech. Sorry, I'm going too quick. Let me go back. So I've just calibrated my leads. So on this one, I'm going to single tests, low resistance ohm meter, which on your Fluke will be the setting for resistance low or whatever, and on your Mega. I'm going to calibrate it, so whatever your setting is to calibrate it down to 0. So that should now zero my leads. There we go. So it will remove that off the measurement now, basically. So when I test it, it should be 0. So now what I'm going to do, bear in mind the other end of this cable, these two are linked out, yeah? So I'm going to connect onto there. I'm going to connect onto there. And I'm going to test. And my reading is 0.10. So that is my R1 plus my R2. All I've literally done there is I've got my cable going underground, etc. I've linked across here with my R1, my R2, and then I'm just testing on these points here. So I'm just measuring the total sum of all of that, basically. And then my RN is separate, it's my neutral, which I will be testing in a bit. But that's not part of that equation. So I draw like someone that I shouldn't be drawing. Yeah, so hopefully that clears up that test. Now I've confirmed that, I've also confirmed polarity, or in here. It's kind of hard to get polarity wrong, but sometimes on a bigger circuit, it's hard to tell. And polarity is just making sure that your cables are in the right places and the right way round. And because there's only 3 of them, I've tested these 2 and they're definitely the right way round. So that confirms that the polarity is correct, the neutral and the line aren't swapped about anywhere. So now I've confirmed that, and that the run is continuous all the way to the end. I'm now going to do insulation resistance. So on this test meter, it's ISO. Make sure it's not touching your skin like it just was. In fact, I'll leave it linked out just for the purpose of this, so you can see what it looks like when it's not right, okay? So this, right, should be a nice open reading. We want full resistance, so that means it's open circuit. Okay, so we'll set it to 500 volts because it's not connected anywhere. And then I'm going to go back and push test. There we go, 999 megaohms. What does it look like when there's something wrong? I'll show you. Okay, so obviously in this scenario, I've got this cable linked out on the other side. It's obviously going to be a short circuit, but I'll just show you what it looks like. Say you had a screw through the cable or something like that. So it thinks that there's a load connected. We'll test through it anyway. There we go, so that's a dead short. So insulation resistance, basically I'm just making sure that I don't get that reading. The limit in regs is 2 megaohms is considered acceptable. Realistically, on a new install, if it's not perfect, if it's anything below 999, you're going to be investigating it because something's definitely not right. But they are the 2 key dead tests that we'd use, and that's pretty much it. I don't do ZS on chargers. I calculate my ZS. So you are allowed to do it that way. You're not allowed to calculate your R1 plus R2, but you're allowed to calculate your ZS, and it's considered safer because it's less live work. So I'm going to terminate this into here, into my CTs and etc. I'll get this wired up. I'll put the cover on, I'll switch it on, and when we have the power off over there, because I need to adjust the bus bar for the extra breaker, what I can then do is take my ZE, and I add my ZE reading at the main switch onto my R1 plus R2, and that will give me my ZS, and that's what I record on the certificate. That's it, easy as that. We'll have to do RCD tests as well, but that isn't until the charger's actually installed, so we'll be coming back to that in a bit. Right, so that's all wired in, and I've got to say, I do really like with the Zappis is how much space you have to work with. A lot of the chargers is so tight, getting the cables in, like the Tesla one, it's like buried at the back of the charger, whereas this, you've got tons of room to terminate. Even for like a 6mm, it's just really easy to get the cables in. My one criticism, I would say, with my own work, is you've got the brass banjo and the stainless steel roofing nut. I'm aware, obviously, galvanic corrosion and thing, but I can also say that I have seen many thousands of banjos with stainless steel bolts and lock nuts and things through it, and I can't say I've ever seen that actually happen in real life. But yeah, that's all done. We've got the testing done, we've got the charger mounted. Time to liven it up. We are all done. The nightmare job has finished. It actually was a nightmare run. It actually was a complicated charger. It's not really that complicated as far as the grand scheme of things. Like, imagine on the Titanic, they had more complicated cable runs. However, as far as our day-to-day as Artisan Sparkies go, that was a pain in the bum. At least it's all finished, and I feel like we've given the customer a great job. Got a nice neat run, Plugged it into their car earlier and it's all working nicely. I've connected their solar up to it as well, so all the solar is connected at the minute. I hope that's been a bit more educational, so that all that frustration wasn't for nothing. I've got nothing to say. I want to go home. If you need any more help or you've got any more questions about electrics, please put them in the comments below. Questions about life in general, or the deeper meanings, message children. Thank you.